What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be discussing Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder. And man, what a game. To say the least, from the onset of the game, right, where it was a lot of fouls early, right? I looked at the game and I said, okay, is this how the referees are going to decide to dictate the pace of play? They're going to call it tight. They're going to make sure like guys know that they won't allow the physicality that was going on in games 1 and 2. But, you know, that didn't come to be. You looked at the first quarter and the Oklahoma City Thunder looked like the Oklahoma City Thunder, you know, being able to make shots. You look at SGA. He didn't have a prototypical SGA style of first quarter. He started coming along as the first quarter ended. But you look at guys like Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren, who had his fingerprints all over the first quarter of the game. Then you look at guys like, you know, Tyrese Halliburton, who didn't have the best game too, but you turn around and you look what he was able to do, and you say to yourself, okay, he's here to play. He was here to play in game 3. I'm gonna be honest, because when you look at the style that he was deciding to play, you know, getting up and down, making his floaters, getting to the lane, getting others involved as well, that was what, in my opinion, dictated how the game was going to be played. Because you've seen the Pacers playing a style that, if they could keep, I said it to myself, I said if they could keep this style of play up for 4 quarters, then they may give themselves a chance. In the second quarter, the Pacers bench dominated the basketball game, from TJ McConnell to Obi Toppin, and especially Ben Mathurin, who came off the bench and delivered in so many big spots, had 27 points in the basketball game. But that's, in my opinion, the second quarter is what won the basketball game. It ultimately decided the basketball game, in my opinion. You know, because I felt like that Pacers style came to its head in the second quarter. The Oklahoma City Thunder definitely looked like a team that, you know, even though, now mind you, even though it was a close game at halftime, I felt like the Pacers were the better team at half. I felt like they played better. I felt like they were pressuring, especially the way they were pressuring SGA. You know, there was times where SGA would, the Thunder would inbound the ball, and they looked to give it to SGA, and Nembhard is on him. You know, Nembhard is directly on him. You look at spots during defensive possessions for the Pacers, and they're just covering SGA at the hash mark. You look at when he get the ball in his spots, especially around the baseline and things like that, he's being double teamed. And I think that was execution by the coaching staff. You know, now I feel like now they know what they need to do to ultimately at least not take SGA away, but ultimately try to hold him to a certain amount of points. You know, try to keep him in the realms of that 25 range and things like that. Because in this game, he definitely only had, as I look at the box score, he only had 24 points. He was not even the Oklahoma City Thunder's highest scorer in that basketball game. But you look at the second half, that's when, you know, the Thunder they were still playing their style of game, because in the third quarter they won that quarter 29-20. So I said, okay, they're right there. They're in the midst of a run. But that fourth quarter, I don't know what happened, but the Pacers just took over the game and never let up, which led to them winning this game 116-107. When you look at the entirety of the game, you know, you look at rebounds, the Thunder still out rebounded them 42-36. You look at field goal percentage, the Pacers outshot them 51 to 46%. The Thunder had 17 turnovers, which wasn't, a prototypical Thunder style of game. They usually turn the other team over more than them. So that's one thing that stands out to me as well. Jalen Williams played great. He shot 50% from the field. He had 26 points. Chet Holmgren played great. Had a great first half, but was non-existent, if you want to be honest, in the second half. He did end with 20 points and 9 rebounds. But guys like Isaiah Hartenstein, who did play 18 minutes, only had 3 points. You look at what Alex Caruso was able to do in the first 2 games. He wasn't able to do that in game 3. He only had 8 points. Did go 2 for 5 from the field. Another bright spot for the Thunder was Lu Dort. He did go 4 of 5 from 3. But as far as the Indiana Pacers are concerned, man, they had so many others to add in what they did. You look at guys like TJ McConnell, who had 10 points. You look at Obi Toppin, who had 8 off the bench. You look at Ben Mathurin, who, again, like I said, was high man for the game with 27. You look at Tyrese Halliburton with a great bounce back game with a near triple-double with 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 11 assists. And you also look at guys like Pascal Siakam, who had 21 points and 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. So for me, right now, I still think the Thunder will win this series, but being as though they are down 2-1, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in game 4. The Pacers made the necessary adjustments in this game. Home game, they got more out of their bench than usual in this series, and ultimately which led to a win. I think, as we go on and move on to game 4, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what the Thunder do going forward, because they cannot have another performance like that, because they will go down 3-1. Because if the Pacers are playing like this for the remainder of the series, they are playing like the better team right now. And that's the one thing about series, right? You move on, and it's a game to game type of thing. Game 1 was different than game 2, and game 2 was different from game 3. So we will see how both teams adjust as we move on into the series. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys think now that the Pacers have won 2 games, they have the advantage to ultimately close out the series? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Or do you see the Oklahoma City Thunder winning 3 straight? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell to know anytime a video is being uploaded to this channel. As Astronaut H, this is the What More Do You Want Network, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.